Yes, it is finally happening. A new Japanese Godzilla film has been confirmed for a November 3rd, 2023 release. I saw the tweet, just like a lot of you guys. I know some of you guys are watching the Godzilladay live stream, which is going on in Japan right now. Obviously, it's November 3rd over there. It's actually November 3rd just now as I'm recording this here in the U.S. November 3rd is, for those who don't know, it's been called Godzilladay because back in 1954, that's when the original Godzilla movie came out, on November 3rd in Japan. And well, why not be a typical YouTuber for once and actually make a video on Godzilladay, because I know a lot of my subscribers are Godzilla fans, so why not? So what do we know so far? I mean, I'm not going to bullshit you. I have no special knowledge, of anything. I wasn't even watching the live stream of this. I just saw that. I'm one of those people that saw the tweet and was like, oh shit. But one of the things that stood out to me is that Takashi Yamazaki is set to direct. The last time he got his hands on a Godzilla film, the last time he got his hands on Godzilla, and I tweeted this out before, he put Godzilla in his movie in a little cameo. I think it's a dream sequence or something. I didn't watch the full movie. Always Sunset on 3rd Street 2. And it's funny, I remember watching that years ago. I think that movie came out mid-2000s, 2007, I want to say. And I remember watching that clip on YouTube being like, fuck, like when are we getting Godzilla back? Because remember, the last time we had gotten Godzilla was Godzilla Final Wars. This is before Shin Godzilla, before Godzilla 2014. So there had been kind of a drought for a while, and I'm like, man, they need to start making Godzilla movies again, or maybe try in America again. And then obviously we got that eventually. But yeah, so Yamazaki is set to direct. The only thing, I looked at his film page, and the only thing that I recognize that he directed that I've watched before is the Parasite live action movies, which are based on the manga and anime. That anime kicks ass, by the way. If you've never seen Parasite, go do that. I highly recommend it, and I'm sure a lot of other people do as well. And I actually remember liking the live action movie as well, which is rare for me when it comes to anime live, adaptations. They usually suck, in my humble opinion. But I remember liking that one. So whatever that means, who knows? But I don't know what that says about the guy's talent, but I did like those movies. And just like a lot of you, I'm excited for this. I know I don't really... you guys know me by now when I make my videos. I'm not putting on some fake fucking facade with some, oh, wow, oh my goodness. Like, I don't put on that whole act. Like, I have a very monotone voice, but trust me. And I am suffering from a post-bachelor party nasal drip. No, I'm not the one that got married. A buddy of mine. So I was out in Arizona the past weekend. So I'm recovering from a lot of drinking. So yeah, you're just going to get me giving my raw thoughts here. I'm not trying to bullshit you guys. I don't know any more about this than you do. These are just my thoughts, and I want to share really the excitement of all this. Ever since Shin Godzilla, when I watched that a few years ago, I wanted more. I wanted more Japanese Godzilla. And I know some of you are probably rolling your eyes like, well, you have about 30 plus of those, asshole. Why do you want more of those? America just finally got this thing right with the MonsterVerse. Why do you want Japan to take over again? Well, to be honest, and I'm not shitting on the MonsterVerse movies, they were what I wanted back when I was 10 years old and Godzilla in 1998 came out. I wanted a Godzilla movie with all that Japanese, ridiculous, ass-kicking Godzilla, but with an American budget. 98 Godzilla, my thoughts on that. It let me down. I know a lot of people grew up with that movie and actually like it. I learned that this past year. I learned that a lot. In some of the comments you guys leave me on my 98 video, a lot of people actually grew up with that Godzilla, which is interesting. But that always disappointed me. And these MonsterVerse movies really, they made me happy in a very odd way where, as an adult, I kind of just look at them as, this is a monster movie. I'm not going to sit there and call it high art, but it was my memories of being 9, 10 years old, younger, wanting that kind of movie. And those MonsterVerse movies, Godzilla 2014, and more so Godzilla King of the Monsters with King Ghidorah, Rodan, Mothra. And then we got Godzilla versus Kong, which is just insane that we got that again. And I think we're getting another one too, apparently, with a sequel. So, believe me, there is a very big soft spot in my heart for all those movies just because they did something that I'd wanted for a long time since I was a kid. However, I feel like there's more of a chance for a Godzilla movie to be, and again, I'm going off the top of my head here because I don't have anything written down right now. I just feel like because I've been watching more and more Japanese movies, not monster related, not anime related, nothing like that, more just serious movies. I kind of want to see a Godzilla movie that tries something. I guess the only word I can think of right now is deep. I'm not saying there aren't Godzilla movies with deep themes, of course, but I don't consider the MonsterVerse movies to have deep themes. No offense to people who think there are deep themes. That doesn't appeal to me. I think we can get something interesting here. I think we got something very interesting with Shin Godzilla. Godzilla Singular Point, again, that was another kind of reimagining of Godzilla in a way that I never anticipated. Now, if you're familiar with my review of that show, I didn't really understand what the hell was going on for most of it, but I still enjoyed a lot of it. And I actually do like when people try to take the Godzilla character, and I was just fighting through a burp like Mike Francesa. I do like when people take the Godzilla character and do these kind of crazy things with it. Of course, I have a soft spot for the more traditional Godzilla, but I'm excited for this. I think, I see some people asking, is this going to be a Shin Godzilla sequel? Gun to my head, I'd say no, because every time I've looked that up, it seems like the answer has been no. Over the years, they've seemed pretty steadfast at saying that Shin Godzilla was kind of a standalone deal. If they did a Shin Godzilla sequel, say they actually do, because I remember reading articles years ago, them saying that Toho was interested in doing a MonsterVerse type or cinematic universe for Godzilla, which, they already did for a lot of people, but, a more updated version of it. That they were saying they were interested in doing that. So that's kind of been sticking in my mind the last few years. Like, I don't think they're going to do a Shin sequel, but I do think they're going to go back to maybe a more traditional Godzilla, or maybe come up with a new origin for the monster and then go from there. And it'll be its own era or continuity. I think that's probably what we're getting. If they did go the Shin Godzilla sequel route, I have my own Shin Godzilla sequel idea that I'm going to bore you with for the next minute, so I apologize. But if they did do a sequel, this is what I would want it to be. Pick up the movie where maybe a few years after they left off, with Shin Godzilla still frozen in that position in the middle of the city. Now, the people would be fine with that. They'd say, listen, he's going to stay that way forever. We just can't disturb him, or, something like that. But life goes on. Shin Godzilla is still frozen in the middle of the city, all that. Then a new monster emerges. Now, this could be Ghidorah coming from outer space. It could be some after effect that Shin Godzilla had, something like that. A new monster emerges, and basically the only thing that can stop this new monster is Shin Godzilla. They eventually get to the point where they realize, and they struggle with the decision, do we unleash this beast that once almost destroyed us to now save us, which I think would be awesome. It would just work so well. And of course, they would unfreeze Shin. And now this is the part that I'm not going to say, this kind of came up in my mind. I'm not going to say I'm the first person to think of this. I'm sure somebody else did. But in my mind, what would happen is, because Shin Godzilla evolves into, I believe my understanding was it evolves into whatever it needs to survive or to win or whatever, it would evolve or adapt to fight this new monster, because it needs to now save this city or defeat this new monster. It would evolve into what the citizens think of as a hero, and it would get kind of a meta. It would be a meta moment where Godzilla evolves more into his traditional form that we recognize him from the Showa era, from the Heisei era, from the Millennium era. He evolves into that sort of Godzilla that looks more like the traditional Godzilla. And it would be kind of a meta moment because then it would address the complaints from the 2016 Shin Godzilla where people are like, oh, he doesn't even look like Godzilla. What the hell is this? What is that little Muppet thing crawling around on the ground? So it would be kind of a funny thing if he evolves into the Godzilla that everybody grew up with instead and defeats whatever the monster is. That was kind of my shitty idea I had. I remember it popped into my mind like a few months ago or like a year ago. But yeah, I am very excited for this. I don't know what to expect. I know I normally don't do videos like this where I'm just sort of, going off the cuff about new breaking Godzilla news. Because again, it's not like I have some source and I'm not going to be trying to find new information about this. I'm going to take it as it comes, just like a lot of you guys. I'm not going nuts about it. I'm a big fan. I don't like wishing away time. So no, I'm in no rush for next year. So you'll all understand that as you get older. And I'm sure there's plenty of people older than me listening to this that understand it as well. You do not want to wish away time, but let's enjoy this year knowing that in a year from now, we're all going to be, well, it's going to come out in Japan, but roughly a year from now, we're all going to be seeing a new Japanese Godzilla movie. Hey, doesn't get better than that. So with that, I wish you all a happy Godzilla Day. Take care.